welcome to the What's Happening music show. I'm Michelle and I'm here with Jamie, and we have such a cool show coming up for you guys. We're so excited. We're going to be talking about some of our latest discoveries, artists that we've been listening to over the past couple of weeks. We've also got some really awesome music that we're going to play for you. And we've got a super fun interview with Serena Sophia. So super good show. And just to kick it off, we'll go into our discovery. So over to you, Jamie.
Awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to today's show. I'm really looking forward to that interview as well. I think it's going to be really good. But first on my discoveries is probably one of the best musicians that I have found in the last 12 months. And this is for a couple of reasons. The first reason, because his music's really good. The second reason, because he's one of the hardest working musicians I think I've ever come across. When I first discovered his Twitter, I think he had like 2,000-3,000 followers. And today I think he's got something like 8 or 9. So really pushing the boundary, really doing well on social media. And I think doing well in his music because it's always constantly changing and developing. So the musician I'm talking about is a guy called 3 Mind Blight. And he is a producer and he's also a musician. So trying to say where to start with this one is actually a little bit difficult because he does a lot of collaborations with a lot of other artists, and his music therefore fits in quite a few different categories. So some artists that he has done stuff with, if you're into kind of that independent, underneath the radar scene, you might recognize some of these people, but people like Claire Estelle, Jemma Johnson, and his latest song, which is called Reflections, is with the vocalist and beautiful vocals. This is Sophia Dorsten, who I think is quite popular online, and it is a fantastic song. Really enjoyed it. So maybe start with that one, but if you don't like that, try a different collaboration, always sitting in different genres. He also has more rocky stuff. He's got a song called Breaking Down, which is all him. It's a bit more kind of Disturbed-esque, so that's also amazing to go and listen to. He also has some brand new music coming out on the 15th of March, which is actually tomorrow. No, it isn't. Yes, it is tomorrow. I don't know. I looked at my calendar and couldn't decide whether it was in May or not. So yeah, 15th of March, he's got a new song coming out with another collaboration project, which I'm really looking forward to hearing because, as I say, every single one is different. Now, as I said, 3 Man Blight, he's one of the hardest working musicians out there. Mentioning all his Twitter followers, he's got lots of followers on Spotify as well. But something that I think is really good to go and listen to him is his production value is always amazing. Not only from a technical perspective, but from a songwriting perspective, it is very impressive. Every word has a specific position, and every word has a reason why it is there. So if you're going to listen to something with meaning and something with great production value, maybe not something that's kind of bubbly pop, something that's a bit more serious, then 3 Mind Blight is someone I really recommend you check out.
Awesome. No, sounds really cool. And yeah, we gotta love the busy musicians. Absolutely love it. So actually, this next artist I've got is also somebody who is very busy, but in a slightly different way, in the fact that she wears a lot of different creative hats, which is very cool. So the artist that I'm talking about is Alison Slone. So she's just put out an album, and it's pretty much almost undescribable because it's just it's such a mix of everything. It's very cool. So, it's it's very edgy. It's very experimental. Some of the stuff's quite rocky. I think one of my favorite songs off the album, called Blue Jeans, is very jazzy. And then another one that I really like, which is Alpha Female, is quite sort of really experimental. And then it's quite rocky. So she does a whole mix of stuff. It's very cool. She's from Texas in the States, and she's actually an acting student. But on top of that as well, she's also a writer. So she's putting out music, she's also acting, she's also writing poetry and stuff. It's very cool. Very busy woman. But yeah, so her debut album is very eclectic. There's probably at least one track that you'll like from it, no matter what your music taste is, because it's just such a cool mix. So yeah, Alison Slone, check her out, defo.
Awesome. Sounds right up my street. Sounds very diverse, and I love diverse stuff. So No, I definitely will go and check that out. Well, my next artist they're very much rock, and very much something that holds a bit of nostalgic value, but also have some really nice contemporary vibes. And this is a band called Neptune Rain, which is an awesome name because, I don't know if you know, but on Neptune, it rains diamonds. So there's a little scientific fact for everybody. I'm not sure we would maybe say that the band is diamonds, but they're definitely worth listening to.
That's so cool. Sorry.
No, that's cool. I like to throw in little scientific facts every now and then. But yeah, so this band hails from Cheltenham, so UK based, and they're actually, might not be like me saying this, but I think they're pretty much a product of lockdown, because they came out in 2020. Their first EP came out in November 2020 called Chaos and Light, which I've got to say I really, really enjoyed. So where to start with them is obviously start there. That's the only music they have at the moment. But they do have some more music coming out on the 9th of April called We Breathe the Same, which is apparently to demonstrate and talk about the fact that humanity and humans have more in common with each other than we have differences, which is, I think, is a very poignant topic at the moment. We were talking a little bit about this and how there are still divisions, still lack of equality in a lot of places, even in modern society and even in our society. So quite a poignant song to be releasing. But why should you go and listen to these guys if you like rock? Why are they better than other people? Well, I did mention they had a bit of a nostalgic feel to them, and that's because I think they have a bit of a naughty sound. Now, I think we've talked in previous podcasts the whole kind of pop punk thing is coming back. Well, these guys aren't pop punk in that sense, but they do have a bit of nu metal nuance around them. But then they also have some contemporary elements that they throw a bit more of a kind of electric rock into their feel. But essentially, you're getting a band that has kind of naughty sort of choruses, but then with some rap rock in there as well. So the lead vocalist can rap, he can sing. So it's almost familiar, but yet it's a little bit different. So quite refreshing, almost fitting that part that maybe someone like Linkin Park had. I don't know, maybe that's a bit controversial. I know Linkin Park, a huge band, a lot of people love them. Not trying to say we should replace them, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed them. And they're also one of those bands that I've listened to, and while they sound really good on the record, it's the sort of thing I think sounds a little bit more subdued in the record, whereas when you hear it live, it's going to be a bit more crunchy, a bit more punchy, a lot more energy. So when gigs come back, hopefully, I would like to see them. But yeah, go and check out their EP, and then obviously their new song when it comes out on the 9th of April.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it sounds very good. I do love my nostalgia in music, so like totally. So okay, so the next band that I've got is Jemma and the Good Thing. And it was such a cool sensation because when I first listened to the band, like for the first time, I remember sort of like I just kind of like clicked on it and just played their first song, and I was just kind of like bobbing along, and I was like, oh, this got like a very like folk and like Canadiana like sound to it. And I feel like Canadiana is like a very niche like music sort of genre. And I realized, I was like, oh, I totally just said they sound very Canadiana without actually even looking at where they're from. Turns out they're from Canada. They're from actually like quite close to where I'm from. They're from Quartz Island in BC, British Columbia, which is the province that I'm from as well. And I was like, I've got an ear for it. But they've got such a great sound. So Jemma is the lead vocalist. She also, I think, is the main songwriter. And she's just got such a gorgeous voice. And I really like her lyrics and songwriting style. Like she does it's very personal. She sort of talks about like kind of like traveling around a little bit. And it's also a bit humorous as well in some instances. Like it's just really lovely to listen to. Like it's a really lovely band. So they've only got 2 singles out, both released last year. So they're still kind of, I think, putting things together, and I'm so excited to see more of their stuff. But the 2 singles they've got out is Side of the Road and When You Come Home, and they're both phenomenal. So have a listen to those 2 songs, and then I cannot wait for more music from them.
Awesome. No, they sound really good. I love that you thought they sounded like something from at home, and then turns out that they came from the same place. That's that's always a nice moment, I guess. So my final discovery is a Glaswegian band called the Mickey Nines, and there is a lot to love from this quartet. Now, I think if anybody is an avid gig goer in Scotland, they've probably heard of the Mickey Nines. I think they're quite popular in the live gig scene, but they're a band that I knew about for a while. Like, I knew the name, but I never really dived into. And actually, recently, they've just produced a new song that I listened to, and I was like, this is really good. And then I ended up listening to pretty much everything that they ever produced. So they're a band that formed with the idea of becoming a bit more like something like Daft Punk, but then decided to kind of throw away those synths away and brought in some guitars, some basses, got a bit more funky, got a bit more groovy, got a bit more energy filled in their whole style. And I'd say the band says their genre is post-funk / evil disco. Now, I'm not quite sure where that falls in the spectrum of music, but I would say if you like indie funk with some rock and roll flavors and some essences of electronic dancehall, then this is definitely the band you are looking for. Now, I know we can't see gigs, but the first thing I would highly recommend you do, having seen these guys play live, even though I didn't know much of their music, they are absolutely killer. They are so good. I think a couple of years ago they were voted the best live act by the Scottish Alternative Music Awards, and they really have it's just great energy, and I really, really did enjoy them. But if you want to go and check out their back catalogue, check out the latest single that's dropped on the 12th of March called Full American. It's just so good. It's full of energy-filled guitars, and it's just something very different from other things in the music industry at the moment. It's a bit punky, it's a bit rocky, it's a bit of everything really, and I really enjoyed it, and I think people should go and check it out. Another one you can try is called Rang With Me, but it's spelled Rang as in R-A-N-G, and then With is W-I, and then Me, which is just so Glaswegian. It is such a Glaswegian feel-good song. It's unbelievable, and I think it really captures who they are. There's another song called Ammunition, which is also absolutely brilliant, so go and check that out. Now, if you are a fan of people like Bomb Scare, or maybe Colonel Mustard DJ 5, or maybe someone like Jamie and Shuni, if you know the Scottish music scene, then you're going to absolutely love this band, so go and check them out. They're still slightly underneath the radar, but I think if they keep on going, I think they're just going to get bigger and bigger, and you're either going to love them or you're going to hate them, but if you love them, they're going to be right at the top of your playlist.
You're just getting me all excited for when we can go to gigs, because it feels like it's so close, so far.
I know.
I can't wait.
It'll be so good. I think when we all manage to go to the gig, it's going to be one of those experiences where it'll not only be the most attended gig in history, because everyone will be there, it'll be one of those things that as soon as the PA goes, everyone's going to cry, because it's just going to sound so good.
Yeah. Okay, so my final artist is Elaine Kristal. And Elaine Kristal is like an R&B artist with, she's been influenced by other R&B artists, particularly from like the early 90s. So, like Usher and Brandy and like that kind of crew. And yeah, her songs are like, they do fall very much into that. And so if that's the kind of music you like, you'll love her stuff. It's very sort of like danceable as well. Like her lyrics and vocal style just add a really like unique aspect to her songs that does make her stand out a little bit more. She's got 3 singles out at the minute. So she's got the latest 2, which were released in 2020, which is Refresh Your Memory and Tug of War, both really good songs. Absolutely highly recommend. And then she's got another amazing song that she released in 2019 called Masochist. So check out all 3 of those. And again, I feel like all of my artists are like, they've just got all these singles out and I'm just sitting here like, give me more music. So I'm really excited to see what else she comes out with soon. But yeah, we'll just have to keep ourselves happy with those 3 singles for now, but soon hopefully.
Amazing. I always love it when you find an artist that you really enjoy and they've got new music coming out and you can't wait and you're like, I've listened to this so many times and I want to listen to what you've got coming up next. That's awesome, and you really have sold it to me, so I'm going to have to go and check it out, and I'm probably going to be in a very similar boat to you. Well, there you have it, people. They were our discoveries for this month. Hopefully, these are artists that you're going to go and check out. Remember, you can go and find them on the links in the descriptions on wherever you're listening to this podcast. But go and listen to them, go and check them out. Even if you're not sure whether they're your thing, just go and give them a listen. You might be surprised, and that will be amazing. Anyway, guys, now we have some music for you, and this is by a band called Elbé. Hopefully, I've said that correct. And this is called Only You. If you enjoy it, as I just said, in the description below will be a link to this song and where you can find it. But yes, this is Only You by Elbé. Enjoy.
Wrap your arms around this blanket covers my chest. The moment's still enough sound against the light of the room. My little briars, the garden facing west. They grow sour, but with your true fluid embrace. Only you, only you, only you. It's only you, only you, only you, only you, only you, only you. It's only you, only you, only you, only you. Burn out the liars, hers is the race. Truth's told, ours is the best. Wrap your arms around this empty chest. A moment still and now alone. It's only you, only you, only you, only you. It's only you, only you, it's only you, only you. It's only you, only you, it's only you, only you. It's only you, only you, it's only you, only you. It's only you, only you, it's only you, only you. It's only
Welcome back to the show. We hope you are doing well. I'm joined by Serena Sophia, a singer-songwriter from Glasgow, and she actually released a single in December called Diary of Your Thoughts, which is really good, I must say. So thank you very much for joining us on the show. How are you doing? How is your life at the moment?
Yeah, it's good. Hi everyone. Yeah, it's okay. I think like everyone just now, it is just a very weird time. But like just trying to find as much stuff to do as possible. I've actually used it as a very productive period in my life rather than like kind of slipping into mode of like I can't really do anything, or I can't really be bothered doing anything. I've actually used it to my advantage, I think, because I don't live here a lot, like, because I would normally work away doing singing jobs or whatever. So it has actually been the longest time I've lived in the UK, for about 3 years, which is really weird, but good, I guess, because I've done a lot. So it has been great.
Awesome. Well, I believe you're a bit of a polymath around the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You've done acting and you've done theatre, and obviously you've done music. So
Yeah.
if we were to describe you as a musician and as a performer, how would you best describe it?
See, this is where I find it like the lines are blurred, because I have a music degree, and then after I finished my music degree, I'd always done musical theatre as a child, and when I was actually doing my degree, I moved to New York, and I remember living like so close to Broadway and being like, oh my God, I missed doing musical theatre, blah, blah, blah. So then I went and done a master's in musical theatre, and I've been working in the kind of industry and the musical theatre sort of side for a number of years, but then I also do music on the side. So I found it kind of difficult to describe what I am. I normally just say like, I'm a performer. I kind of just say that. And then I always put underneath it like musician, singer, like dancer, actress. I used to be that in my Instagram bio. I used to say like performer, and then I would just list what I did, and then I would have my agent's name. But I took it out like recently, just because I have been doing more music stuff. But I guess I would just say performer, and then you can take that however you want, I guess.
No, fair. No, it's quite cool. And like, I guess like, because yeah, if you like sort of stylize yourself as a performer, and like you've obviously done like a lot of like performance and live performance, and you're talking about how you did like a lot of singing like away and that kind of thing. Like this must have been like such a strange like period of time where it's like you can't sort of do those live, those live performances, and like you can't sort of do, I guess, that part of what you love to do. It must have been quite an interesting period of time.
Yeah, it's really weird, I guess, because I was really fortunate as well to get, like, I graduated, I got my agent immediately. I actually went to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. That's where I did like my master's. So that was like a really intense year, basically, like, and we didn't stop for a year. And then I was really lucky to like graduate, get my agent, and then I immediately started working, basically. So, but then it meant I moved away. So I'm kind of used to moving away, to be honest, anyway, and I like to do it. I think like life's too short to not like travel while you're young. I really think that everyone at some point in their life should experience living in a different country. I think it really molds you as a person and really teaches you things that you wouldn't necessarily experience here. So that was really weird. Like in 2019, I literally lived in Scotland for like 7 weeks, I think, or 8 weeks, I think, out of the year, just the way it fell. And then I was back for like Christmas, and then January I got my other job, and then February I moved away again. So it is just really weird to not. There's never been a long period of time in my life where I've not been working or not been performing or whatever. So it is just it's really weird. It's weird, like in a way, because I can't obviously do it, but then it's like I can't do it because of a situation that's affecting everyone. It's not as if I've just not got a job. I'm actually waiting right now to go back to do my cruise, because I've always said to myself I will still do my musical theatre stuff whilst I'm making music, because I think of like musical theatre as my day job, and like music is like my side thing that I love equally, but it's like not my full-time job, I guess. Mm-hmm. Not now. It might be, I hope so, in the future. But yeah, at least it's still within the industry, because I know some people do different jobs. Like some people could be like a nurse and then do music. Like I wanted to keep my everyday kind of thing in the industry. But yeah, it is weird.
And do you think, because obviously whenever you're doing any sort of entertainment, whether you're doing theatre or if you're involved in broadcast or anything like that, that's often can be very time consuming, because outside of those performances, you've got to make sure you've got rehearsals, you've got times to learn your lines and all the things that go with that. Do you think because the pandemic hit, it allowed you to delve into the music and allow you to be more creative on that side where you maybe didn't have that time before? Or was it always the plan to, I'm going to release a single, it's going to be in the next year or something?
Yeah, 100%. It has given me more time. I think like I'd always wanted to release music, but I was a bit self-conscious about it. I'd always like recorded covers, and I'd always came into my computer room. That's where all like my kind of music stuff is, and I'd always like recorded and stuff. But I didn't know what I wanted it to sound like, and I couldn't. I used to write stuff, and I would be like, it doesn't go with the way I look. Like it just didn't fit, like, and it didn't make sense, and I didn't like it, if I'm being honest. So it wasn't until I lived in Ibiza in 2019. That was where my kind of job was. I was playing saxophone and singing like in a kind of hotel, and then I did some in some other places as well. And it wasn't until then, for some reason, there's something about Ibiza, it's my favourite place in the whole world, that it's like so creative, and they always say that there's something about it that it either can make you or break you, and it definitely made me. And I discovered like what type of music I wanted to write, and I started writing hundreds of music, and I had all of these demos and stuff. So it definitely was in the back of my mind before the pandemic hit that this was something I wanted to do. I'd found my producer that I wanted to work with. We started to talk loads. And then when I got stuck on the ship, that's when I started. Obviously, I wrote my song that I released in December. And then when I came home, that was when I recorded it fully. And then I have had loads of time now. And I think I would have done it anyway, because I'm really like that. And I'm a night hawk, and I stay up really late. And that's when I tend to write music and stuff. But I think because we did have the pandemic, I've done things a lot quicker, I guess. So it has been really beneficial in that sort of sense, because it is hard to write music when you are on a cruise ship, I guess.
And I guess like with the single that you've just released, like just in December, like do you want to talk us through like a little bit about that process and what it was like to sort of release that? I mean, in the middle of a pandemic and like create it.
Yeah. So the song is like really personal to me. I was a bit like, do I release this? Because everything that is written in it is actually taken from a diary. Where is it? It's actually taken from this. So I used to write in this book all the time, like thoughts and the way I felt and stuff like that. And that was kind of through 2018. Like I had like the worst breakup ever in 2018, and I know people will like go through breakups and then they are like, they get over it and stuff, but like I just felt so bad. Like, and I think it just affected me personally in so many ways. Other than just that, I think it brought out loads of stuff that was probably like under the surface for like a while that I hadn't really like maybe dealt with or whatever. So I used that book, and I used to write everything down and stuff like that. And then when I was writing that song, I was like, the music that I had came up with or whatever, I was like, it's really somber and it is quite sad, but like I feel like it's sad in like a sort of like uplifting way, like I guess. And I took out the diary and I was like, I wonder if this will like fit with it. And then it did, and I was like, oh, obviously all of the lyrics aren't from it, but most of them are like lines from my diary, and I put them together and I filled them all in or whatever. And then I obviously was like, okay, I want to release this. I then got my friend Andrew to feature in it. He's like the male part in it. He has been my friend for years and years. He's actually a singer as well and releases some music. And then I don't think it was until the very end, like when I was like sitting with it, I was like, this is really personal, like for a debut, and not many people are like brave enough to kind of put something like that out. Like, because I know people write like love songs and they write sad songs or whatever, and sometimes they're not necessarily like based on like real experiences, but this was like so true that it was almost like it was just bits of a diary really. So I was a bit nervous, but then when I first released it, like even radio stations and stuff like that that's been played on, they've said like what like a nice way and like courage and stuff like that to be able to put that out or whatever. So I'm really proud of it, and I am that I did release something that is like so true and that people can maybe like relate to and stuff. I'm not ready. It's so personal to me that I'm like not ready to let it go. I don't even want to bring out a second song because I'm like it's my child. But yeah, no, it has been great to do it. Doing it on the ship. I recorded it on the ship and like the demo, and then I came home and I recorded it here. So that was cool as well to see its kind of journey, and I've kept all the demos as well so that you can hear like the first one to like the kind of last one, and I'm probably going to put them together and make like something of it. And I filmed like the recording process, and then I obviously released the music video as well. So it has been exciting. It is a lot of work. I don't think I realised how much work it actually is. I was like, what is going on? Like, but it has been great. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing it all.
And how was your experience? Because being in a live kind of situation, you know, is very different from doing something, recording and having all the kind of post-production work to do. Mm-hmm. How did you find, because I know a lot of people who, you know, they you know, talk about your day job and then what you do as a side, but a lot of people I know, they would be people who would do gigs in pubs and stuff during the week. They do their covers and stuff, mm-hmm. and then they'd obviously then release their own stuff as a side project and do that online. So the question I'm really going for is, how different was it from doing your live stuff to then all of a sudden I need to be this presence on social media, I need to be, you know, I need to use this to my advantage, because social media is such a complex web of so many different lines going on so many different places.
I think in a way I kind of have an advantage because I really like social media, like everyone, I guess. I really like Instagram, and before I started doing all this stuff, I used to post all the time about like, I wear like not mental outfits, but I love fashion and I love all that sort of stuff. So I was always quite active in terms of like, I would post photos and I would post like stuff I'd bought, or I would post covers and stuff like that. But I remember having like a conversation with my friend Andrew. The one that's on the song, he actually works for Columbia Records as like their social media, like in their social media team. And I remember he looked at my Instagram and he was like, it's a bit bloggery. And I literally was like, I actually was nearly sick, because no disrespect to bloggers or anything anywhere, but I just did not want my social media to come off in that presence at all, because obviously I was trying to build a kind of look and a kind of like platform for releasing music. So I think at that point I was like, I need to stop posting like outfit of the day, like, because it brings off like a different sort of vibe to what I wanted. And before, I used to post like, if I did like a show, I would post like a reel or something like that of like my show reel and stuff like that. So I've kind of had to try and find the balance of musical theatre-ish with music. I think now I've like tailored it now, so I've got it to a pretty good level that I can share like personal stuff, but then a lot of it is targeted around like my music and like releasing and what I'm going to do and stuff like that. But like what you referred to, it was weird having to then be like, hi guys, I'm going to release a song, and everyone being like, okay, like so it was weird that I didn't really know how to approach it, and I didn't want to be like, now sometimes you get these people and they're like, hi fans, and they've got like 200 followers. I didn't want to like be like as if I was trying to be like Beyonce, being like, hi all my fans, like, and trying to share like my music and stuff. But I think doing it in the most kind of like sincere way, just being like, hi, I have a song, you can listen to it if you want, if you don't, okay, bye. That sort of like way. But people have been really, really nice and been really like lovely with their like feedback, and I was shocked at the amount of people who did share it, like when it did come out, like people I haven't even spoken to in years. So you don't realise like the social media is such a massive part of releasing stuff. it's so vital, even though sometimes I want to chuck my phone out the window because I hate Instagram's algorithms. I'm like, it is so vital for everything, really, I guess.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of wild thinking about like how much our lives and like things in terms of like marketing and like marketing yourself and your music and like trying to get things out there, like it does sort of revolve around like algorithms and like, you know, social media and just like how many people have liked something or viewed something and
I know
all that sort of thing. And it can be like quite stressful, I think, like in one hand, because it just sort of feels like, I don't know, like almost like you're constantly looking at your phone sometimes. Like
I know I do feel like that sometimes, especially if I like release something, I'm never off my phone, and that is something in life I really try and not do, because I feel like when I get older, I'm probably going to be like, oh, I missed that moment because I was like videoing it to get up, rather than like being like present. Mm-hmm. But it is just so important, and it is annoying sometimes because you make something, and Instagram does have this weird algorithm now that like you need to save stuff instead of liking it, which I just don't really understand. I'm like, why? Like I don't get it. Like, so I remember when I was just about to release like my music video, my Instagram was just doing terrible. Like no one was seeing anything. I remember being like that to like my boyfriend Adam one day. I was like, oh, I don't want to. I had a like mental breakdown. I was like, I don't want to like post this. Like, no one's going to see it. And he was like, don't be so silly. Like people will see it. It's not a reflection of like you if like Instagram is not like reaching loads of people, because I've obviously got a business account, so I can swipe up and see how many people it reaches and stuff. And sometimes the numbers, I'm like, that can't be right. Like, how are these people not seeing this? But then when I did release my music video, it's got like nearly like 1,000 views already, and it's only been out for like 2 weeks. So like, it just shows you. I don't know how it works. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things that's not surprising that people like literally make a living off of figuring out how it works, like with social media managers and stuff. Like it's.
I know. I'm like, okay, that's your job. I'll just stick to this.
I think it's really good to hear other people's journey with social media, because I think everybody obviously experiences it differently, as you say. The algorithms work in the ways they do, but social media makes the world so much smaller, which means that someone in Australia can hear your song even though they are thousands of miles away. I know, yeah. And I think that is amazing.
Yeah, I've actually like, just so weird, I've actually reached more people in America, I think, with my song than like the UK in some terms. Like I get people messaging me all the time, and like they live in like parts of America, and they're like, just found your song, it's so great. And I'm like, how did you find me? Like, it's so strange. And I've actually got like a kind of exciting thing coming up like soon. I can't really say anything about it, but it is an American, they're American based as well, and they found me through a hashtag, which is insane to me. I'm like, okay. Like, I guess like it is so powerful and so small. I've always said that, like, the music industry and musical theatre industry is so small. You have to watch what you say, watch what you do, always. You'll notice I don't really post that much political things on my Instagram, or I don't really post my opinion a lot, because I don't think that it's appropriate for my account. Although I might have like my own opinions and stuff like that, it's definitely one of those things that, like what you're saying, it's so small. You never want to offend anyone or like not offend anyone. So I think when you do have an account that's kind of music based, I kind of just keep it neutral, which I think is better.
Well, that makes sense. And kind of just switching complete tacks from social media. Mm-hmm. You obviously released the video, and you said that was a lot of work, but how was that putting? Was that the first music video you've done?
Yeah, it was the first one I'd done. I was a bit nervous about it because I'd never done a music video. I've done some TV work, and I've done like some film and stuff or whatever, but again, they're more performance-based, more musical theatre-based. I was actually in the Commonwealth Games like opening ceremony like years and years ago. I was like one of the tea cakes.
That's a great point to win.
Exactly. So I'd had experience with like filming, and like I obviously get like my headshots taken all the time and like photos and stuff, but I'd never like necessarily been filmed, and I was so dreading miming. I was like, oh, I really was really uncomfortable. I had said to, it was my friend Fraser who made the video for me, who actually took all the promo shots and stuff as well. Like, I just wouldn't use anyone else anymore because we're close friends, but he just gets me, do you know, that way. He just understands what I want to do. And I know that I could be like, can we do this? And it could be something like, can I hang upside down from a tree, like holding like a microphone? And he would be like, let's try it. Like something as ridiculous as that. But he made me feel like a lot more comfortable about it. I've got a story actually when I started to make that music video. I had like a number of ideas, and I wanted to go back to the car park that I took like all of my photos in, because I liked the fact that you could see like the skyline and like the kind of high-rise part of it. But when I got there, we got chucked out. They chucked us out of the car park, and I was just like, she was like, it's private property, you can't record here. And I was like, you should go down my Instagram because your car park is all over my Instagram. Like, I'm really sorry about that.
Publicity, come on.
Exactly, I know, exactly. I was like, what? So then the both of us were just standing in this car park, and we're like, what do we do? Like, this was like going to be one of like the main locations in this. And we'd had the idea of what my music video looks like now as well to do. So then he was like, right, let's just go and do this part and see what happens. And then we can, if we need to film more stuff, like we can. So we started doing it, and see, if you had to see where we did it, you would not believe where it was filmed. It was filmed in the smallest room, like the smallest room ever, like his little studio. We put like a backdrop down in white, then we put like a white cover and everything. We made like the makeshift bed ourselves and everything. And I was a bit nervous because I was like, I don't know if this is going to look right. Like, and then he sent me it, and I was like, what? Like, oh my God. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, Adam was sitting next to me, and I was like, that's me. And he was like, I know it's you. And I was like, oh, I can't believe that. Like, and the thing that was cool about it as well is we took like sections, like we actually like scanned in my lyrics and projected them. So like, see, when you'll see, I don't know if I can try and show you on here. I have this like really, really weird obsession with drawing swirls, right? Have you seen them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've always done it like when I doodle. So we got my book and scanned it in as well and put it as the backdrop on one part of the video, which I thought was amazing. Like, to be able to do that, to see like my actual handwriting and see like what I had wrote and stuff. So it was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. It wasn't stressful. It wasn't embarrassing. I actually loved doing it. Like, and I cannot wait to do like the next one now because I've done it once and I'm not scared anymore. Do you know that way? I think it was great. I loved it, and I love the way it turned out. I think it looks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks really good. And like, I like that that's like a nice little like personal touch as well that you put in the sense that is like stuff that you've done yourself, like the little swirls and the lyrics and stuff. I think that's really nice, like little that's put in there.
I always think it is nice to have like a personal touch in it.
Yeah, totally. No, exactly. And like you hinted at potentially doing another one soon. So I've got to ask, like, what have you got next in the pipeline? Like, what's your plans?
I have so many songs, like, and I know people probably say it, but I actually do. Like, I wrote down, I think they're in the start of this book actually. Wait a minute, let me see if I can show you how many I have. These are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was like 9 that were all ideas that were written, like, but that was weeks ago. So like not finished. They're not all finished. Like they're all, but like they're made. Do you know that way? Like the music is made. now it's just like adding things. It's like making them a bit more fuller and stuff like that. I have so many songs, but the next song I have is like done basically, apart from it's going to get mixed again, just because I'm very OCD with like I think because I'm a trained singer and I don't want to sound like a bit like naff or whatever, but see, because I have been trained in singing, I'm so particular about the way a vocal sounds. And when I listen to a track, I listen to the voice and I listen to the way it's mixed and everything like that. So that is the next song that I'm going to put out, but it needs mixed again because I don't like the way the vocal sounds just now, so I'm mixing it just now. But I'm hoping it's going to be out like end of April, I think, because I need to obviously allow a time to then start to promote it, and my photos and stuff like that. But the first release, I'd obviously never done it before, so I didn't know what was appropriate time to like release a video and then release a song and then a video. But I think now what I'll do is, as soon as I've obviously put that song out, I'll make a video so that I can then release that maybe like a couple of weeks later rather than like a month or two later. So that is the next one, and then there's more that are going to come, to be honest, from that. There's a lot of them.
No, that's good.
That's awesome. That's so exciting.
It's very, very exciting. And I love the fact that you are really connected over your music, because, and we got this from the start of the interview, but if something's personal and if something is genuinely you want it to be genuinely you. So if you have a certain sound, and you did say that you went through a lot of different covers, and you never found the exact sound till you got to this point. I think that is something that a lot of musicians and anybody who is writing music needs to be not afraid of, to spend time to find exactly what it is you want, because as you say, when it's out there, you can't change it when it's out there, so exactly. It needs to be what you want.
Yeah, I definitely do think that like it would make less sense to do it quickly and it not be the way I want it to be. Like, and I think releasing my first song at the beginning of December, it then was Christmas, it was then New Year, we then went back into a lockdown again, so I had planned to like record my video in January and release it at the end of January, and because we went back into a lockdown again and stuff like that, it literally made it impossible. And I was like, and then eventually me and Fraser just decided between each other, we were like, we're still in a lockdown, but like it's only going to be the two of us, we're not going to be like, we can obviously still social distance, blah blah blah. So we just decided to do it, because otherwise I would have been waiting like a long time to then try and do like another thing. I think as well when music, like you're saying, it is so personal, your name's stamped on it, it's yours, you own it. Like I would hate if I looked back and was like, I wish I did that differently. I never want to ever have that thought. So I would rather take like another month and delay it than it be not the way I want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It makes sense. You know, I mean, Michelle will tell you I'm a perfectionist when it comes to things, so I'm very much probably cut from a similar cloth of you. I think everyone in the kind of like music theatre industry, you kind of need to be like that. I'm even like that in my personal life. Anything I do, I just don't have it. I've always, like my mum and dad would be able to tell you that I've always, if I'm going to do something, I'll do it like 100%. Like I remember when I was writing my dissertation, it was only meant to be 10,000 words and I wrote 20. And my advisor was like, yeah, you need to cut that down. And I was like, why, how many? And he was like, 10,000. I was like, okay. I was like, see you in a month.
Those are the words that every student dreads, is you need to cut this down massively.
I literally basically wrote 2 essays and I was like, I can submit this for someone else. Does anyone want an essay? I was like, oh God. I hated doing that. Hated it. I was like, never again.
I know the feeling. I'm afraid that I think that's all we have time for on today's show, Serena. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for sharing your story and all about your music process with us. I found it absolutely fascinating.
Thank you. It's been lovely to talk to you. It's strange that we're over Zoom.
Indeed, but it's the world at the moment, and hopefully one day we'll be able to sit down, we'll have a coffee, have a beer, whatever, and actually talk and have that interaction which we all love. But what we're going to do now is, Serena, we're going to play one of your songs. So what are we going to play? What are we going to listen to? What are the listeners going to enjoy?
Okay, here is my song diary of thoughts that was released in December, and the music video on February 20th. Check them both out if you can, and I hope you enjoy.
It's about time that I start looking after myself. I've had so many thoughts over these past few years that I've got trapped in my head. I let you under and over and all the things in between. I watched your eyes wander and wander and wander and make a fool of me. But I loved you, I wanted you, I would have done everything for you, you were mine. But you lied to me, in spite of me, could have died for me, and told me to. Why do I still want
Thought that I moved on from you. Stay alive. Just the feeling never hurts too. Sometimes I kinda want to. I guess it's fun,
They say the time is a healer, but why do I still feel so much pain? They say I'm getting better, I just gotta keep my positive brain. But I've been lost, I just can't hide away. But I loved you, I wanted you, I would have done everything for you, you were mine. But you lied to me, in spite of me, couldn't lie through me, and told me
That was Daria Thoughts by Serena Sophia. Hopefully you guys enjoy that, and make sure you follow Serena Sophia on all the social medias so you know when brand new music is coming out. Please also make sure that you have a look and listen to the discoveries that me and Michelle talked about at the start of this podcast. As mentioned earlier, they're all in the description of this show wherever you are listening to this. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you like what we do, then please give the show a like or a share on whatever platform you're using. Please also follow us on Twitter at WH Music Show and on Facebook at What's Happening Music. And we will see you on the next feature on the What's Happening Network, if not on this next podcast. Have a great day, have a great week, and have a great month, people. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.